Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this episode of Bench Talk. Today we have Noah Eckman. Something that becomes very apparent in his interview is how he holds no resentment for his past situations. And in his words, it is simply because he cannot change it. So why dwell on it? And that reminded me of a quote by Albert Einstein. It says, "There are only two ways to live your life, as though nothing is a miracle or as though everything is a miracle." And my relationship with Noah, I believe it is a complete miracle that he has turned out the way that he has. And I severely credit that to his strong home life that he has right now. He is surrounded by a great group of not only family, but friends and community. And simply by the grace of God, I believe has played a big role in his life. He is one of the kindest guys I know. And every time I mention his name to somebody, they all smile and just tell me how much they enjoy him. So I hope that you are inspired by this episode. And if you are, I challenge you to not only live by how Noah does, of forgetting the past and living in the present and preparing for the future, but also to share the episode. Up next, Noah Eckman, Bench Talk. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bench Talk here at Iron Maid Gym. My aim with this show is to introduce you to people who have demonstrated certain skills and attributes that inspire me to be a better person. My hope is that by listening to their journey, you will be inspired as well. Our guest today is Mr. Noah Eckman. He's currently a senior at Springfield High School and has been training with us since May 17th, 2016. He has been competing in shooting since he was 11 years old. His most recent accomplishments include back-to-back weekends of victories, including first in his class and runner-up overall. Noah has also set a new personal record by hitting 92 out of 100 targets. Noah has been playing the tenor sax for 6 years in the marching band and for concert recitals at Springfield High School. Accomplishments aside, the characteristic that draws people to Noah, I am convinced, is his warm personality, humble attitude, generosity, and positive outlook on life. Welcome to Bench Talk, Mr. Noah Eckman.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
No problem, my friend. Thanks for coming. So let's start first with your shooting competitions, because that's kind of a very interesting thing that not many people do around here. So what first drew you into that sport?
Well, the first thing that really started me was a buddy of mine, John Krill. He asked me one day when I was 11 if I wanted to go out and try sporting clays. Now, this was when I was still really short, and I just got my first shotgun. And when I went out, I shot with him. I didn't do too good, but I've been hooked on it ever since.
Is he a neighbor?
Friend.
Friend? Gotcha. Yeah. So what's the difference between, you and I have talked a little bit about different events and stuff you can do with shooting. What's the one you do? And I know one of our other clients does a different event for shooting. Can you tell us the differences?
Well, I do sporting clays. Sporting clays, you can think of it like a golf range. You go around, there's normally between 15 to 18 stations instead of holes, and you shoot 3, sometimes 2 or 4 pairs at a station. Now, Nicole, your other client, she shoots trap. Trap, there's 5 stations, and you just shoot pretty much it's one target coming from the same area, and you shoot 25 in a row.
Okay. Have you tried that before?
Yeah, I have.
How'd that go?
Not too bad.
So have you seen the sports crossover pretty easily?
Well, yeah, because I shot trap last night, and there was a guy there, and he also shoots sporting clays.
Okay.
So you can shoot them both, and actually, if you shoot the different disciplines, it helps you in all of them.
Gotcha. So you go every Wednesday night. What location do you go to?
I go to Lawrence County Sportsman's Club.
Okay. And then you compete what seems like almost every single weekend. Where is most of your tournaments and stuff at?
Mostly they're around either Pennsylvania or a lot in Ohio recently. Sometimes I go to New Jersey, and sometimes I go as far as Illinois.
Jeez. Yeah, it seems like you spend a lot of time in Columbus, driving back and forth all the time. So that's no short trip, but Illinois, good grief. That's not close either. So with any sport involved, really mindset plays a big role, and you and I have talked extensively about that. How has this played out in your competitions, but also in your life?
Well, really, sporting clays, you think of it, you can think of it as 10% physical and 90% mental. So you can know how to hit the targets, and you could hit them anytime on the practice range. But when you get into a competition and pressure starts building on you from either yourself or an outside force like somebody else pressuring you, it's really hard to go out and do that consistently and hit targets. And that's a big part of the game. So, like, I've read books and listened to CDs from people like Lanny Basham, and it really has helped me gain a better mindset on how to do this.
Gotcha. So clearly you've applied that to your sport. Can you also apply that to your life or also your school activities?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, really it helps you just have like a positive outlook on life as well. Just thinking about it because you're trying to take the pressure away. So if you're in a position where there's a lot of pressure, it can really help you there, because you already know how to deal with the pressure of whatever it's.
Right, right. Yeah. So clearly that goes across the board in pretty much anything you're involved in. So something else that a lot of people find interesting about you is your choice of music.
Yeah.
Elaborate on that, my friend. Because you do not come rolling in the parking lot with Ludacris or anybody else bumping like a normal teenager.
Well, mostly if it's not 50s or earlier, I don't really listen to it.
50s or earlier. That means the 60s are too late.
Yes, they're too new for me.
So don't trivia question this guy on any updated pop or Justin Timberlake because he doesn't care. What are your favorite musicians and songs?
Al Jolson is pretty good. Bing Crosby and Dean Martin. They're some of my favorite ones.
I think I remember my grandparents talking about them.
Yeah, probably.
So in regards to the weightlifting environment, what first brought you to us pretty much? Like what brought you to the gym atmosphere?
When I first came here, it was really just to get stronger, to lose some weight, and I wanted to try and like better myself as a person.
Has it worked? Has your confidence grown? Do you feel better?
I believe it has.
You're definitely stronger, I can tell you that.
Yeah, which that also helps build a lot of confidence. But I mean, even just the conversations that I have with you and Frank just change my mindset on a lot of things,
Yeah,
and that really helped better myself as a person.
it's great. I'm glad to hear. So one of the things that probably in the last couple months you and I have really talked about, and I find the most intriguing about you, and is one of the best reasons why I wanted to bring you on here, was to talk about your home life and history.
Well, I actually live with what would be my grandparents. You'll hear me refer to them as mom and dad. So that's how I live with them. Now, they got me when I was 6 months old because I was living with my biological father in, I believe, a stroller in somewhere in Columbus. And my mother was in jail for killing my sister before I was born. So basically, I came and I lived up here, and that's how I've known my whole life. Now, we just got my nephew, and we're trying to adopt him, Finley. He's 3, and he's kind of in the same situation that I was. His mom's in jail, my sister, and she had drug problems and all that, but we're trying to help him too, just like they helped me.
That just absolutely blows my mind. Through the last couple of years of just hearing different parts of that story and piecing it all together, that is remarkable of how gracious and generous your grandparents are that you live with right now. Like hearts of gold. I'm convinced they are saints. But yeah, no doubt. Just with our interaction that I've had with them and my wife and my son, they treat us like family too. But also your attitude coming out of that. So people often let their circumstances or past family situations define them. How in the world have you been able to stave off resentment and instead treated everyone with compassion?
I truly just try not to focus on the past because I can't change what's happened. I can't change pretty much how other people have acted or will act. So I just kind of try and focus on how I'm going to act, how I'm going to be better than my past. So if I can't change it, there's no need to focus on it or worry about it.
That is such a humbling statement because so many of us struggle with that and focus on petty things that have happened. And you have been through the absolute ringer before you even knew what it was. And you came out on the other side just golden, man. So thank you for sharing that story. That is, I hope everybody really appreciates that. Thank you for being transparent with that. I know it's not easy talking about those kind of situations, but you seriously have a great family. You are definitely loved by a lot of people. So how do you define success?
Truly, success for me is just being the person that you want to be, not being what somebody else wants you to be. Like, I try not to worry about that. I just define success as doing what makes you happy.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. So Noah, thank you first of all for being on our podcast, Bench Talk, but also thank you for being not only a good friend, but you're a client, a patron. You support our business. I greatly appreciate that. So does my family. But you've really shown the people who know you best how to treat others with compassion, not holding any resentment towards others, really showing love just how Christ wanted us to, without holding anything against them. And I really admire that. And we really thank you for being a part of our Iron Maid family. So I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Until next time, Iron Maid community.